You're going after him after all. Fletcher, I'm giving you a commission. Hound this Wales to kingdom come.
Hound him, Senator. A man like Wales lives by the feud. Because of what you did here today, I've got to kill that man.
Well, he'll have to run for it now. And hell is where he's headed.
He'll be waiting there for us, Senator.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Filmoscopy, coming to you live from the studio apartment. I am today's host in a new place, Lance. I am joined today, after 2 episodes, missing a member of the threesome. I probably regret saying that. And me not being on the last episode, you wouldn't know that I wasn't on the last episode because the fuckers didn't acknowledge it. I'm going to say hi to my buddy Cody. Cody out in Springfield where the Simpsons live. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. The last episode, we did forget to mention you, and I don't know why.
We said it off camera.
We said it off camera. Yeah,
I'm glad that I am so important that I'm not missed. It's cool though.
Yeah. We expected you to ad-lib all your lines after.
It's like I'll listen to the show and then I'll just add in some comment like
you're like, yeah, that's a really good explanation, Owen. Like say it real quick before I get my next sentence in.
Invited me on for an episode, so hopefully I get to do that shortly.
Really?
Yeah, I had a quick Twitter exchange with them. Like they finally, well, not finally. I don't know the circumstances, but life lined up where they could record an episode. And one of the guys was like, "Man, you gotta make time to come up on the episode." When I had a Twitter exchange with him, I'm like, "Oh, that's freaking awesome!" So that'd be cool. Hopefully, that happens in the future, in the next couple months.
Cool.
But shout out to the Real Bad Dudes cast.
Do they listen? Do they listen to our show?
They probably don't. Unless it's a movie. I mean, probably like most people, they're not like... Well, one dude runs a YouTube channel. Golly damn. I can't remember his... Hold on, I feel like a shithead.
Gee willikers, Mr. Wilson.
Oh, gosh dang it. Oh, god damn it, Lois. Oh.
It's Fatal Vision TV. He's part of the Real Bad Dudes cast, and I've had exchanges with him, like... I actually through YouTube comments because I was trying to get in contact with him because they hadn't done the episode in a while. Yeah. And I found him on Twitter and he follows us back, which is really cool. They probably listened to an episode that interests them. I know he listened to the first couple episodes because I asked him to, and I think he dug the show then. But anyway,
he should follow my alt Twitter account.
Well, no, we don't need you. Owen, we don't need your social media involved, okay, buddy? We don't want to get canceled.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it called Top Hat Wishboner?
No, it's called
probably so.
It's called Spread Ass.
Oh God.
With $2 signs
All right.
instead of an S.
It's nothing but that.
No, real quick. Well, technically, Owen, you're a Hoosier, and I don't care for much for you either.
No. Yeah. Actually, in the Civil War, most of my family was from like Kentucky and shit during the Civil War. I actually have family members who fought on both sides because they're from like kind of that area, like West Virginia and shit. So
you got a bi-curious family.
Yeah, it was literally brothers fighting and then fucking.
Oh my God. But yeah, today we're covering the Outlaw Josey Wales. It is my suggestion, so it's my movie.
Yeah.
We're going to do a quick... I was going to say, hey, let me pose this question. What was y'all's experiences in the Civil War? But that doesn't really work.
It's really not even that much of like a Civil War movie, is it? It's really more of a Western.
That's the backdrop. Yeah. It's 100% the backdrop.
Yeah.
Real quick. So let me go ahead and go around the room. We'll go in alphabetical order today, just to keep it simple. Cody, what was your first experience with this movie?
Watching it this morning. At one point, you would let me borrow a DVD or Blu-ray or something of it, and it sat on my shelf for like 6 months, and I never watched it. And I gave it back to you, and here we are.
Yeah, you were interested in watching because this was an inspiration for Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it too was at the time I was in school and I was taking that film class, and for the film class I had to watch Unforgiven, and it got me interested in more Clint Eastwood stuff, and so you had suggested that, but I'd never, for whatever reason, I just never watched it.
Okay, yeah, I remember you doing that film class. That's where you had to end up watching Psycho, wasn't it?
Yeah, the original Psycho.
Because I remember I had skipped showing you that because it was black and white, and I was like, you gotta watch Psycho 2, 3, and 4. Come on, you know. So we watched that together. Owen, we had talked about this when we recorded Pulp Fiction, but you'd seen this movie once before, right? And this is like your second time watching it?
Yeah, I think this will be my second time. Yeah, I think I already talked about it. This movie has been like, my dad really likes this movie, and I really like this movie. My first dog that I ever had was named Josie. So
I thought you were gonna say my first dog also liked this movie.
Yeah, my first dog was a
Man, that's the first thought that went through my head. As mean as that is, I apologize, but I was like,
me and my first dog
like the movie too?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. He got forced to watch it. Go away, cat. My cat's chewing at my cables. Oh.
So I'll go ahead and get my quick history of it. My dad is a big military and Western movie fan. He really likes Clint Eastwood movies. He likes John Wayne movies. He likes, like later on generations, he likes some Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, Steven Seagal, kind of like the big stars, Sylvester Stallone, that type of stuff. And you know, kind of running the family. My grandmother on my mom's side was a lot like that too. She, because like I've mentioned her quite a bit on this show, and you know, she had liked this movie. My mom actually likes this movie. What's funny is watching these movies growing up, I was extremely bored with them, and you know, I just noticed, like, you know, the thing of like a gateway drug. You know, something that introduces you to a whole new world. It's kind of like I was listening to a video of some guy reacting to teens reacting to Linkin Park. And, you know, it's like one of those, like, cringe-worthy, like, you know, things. Like, the teens now were reacting to old Linkin Park and all that stuff. And the guy was talking about Linkin Park being kind of like a gateway band to a different world. Like, it's the thing you listen to because it's on the radio, and then you hear other things like it but not like it. If you go like deeper into it, more obscure stuff. I have a Clint Eastwood gateway movie that I'm going to suggest at the end of this podcast that we'll get to in about a month. And that movie, like, it clicked. I started liking Clint Eastwood. And when I went back to rewatch this movie with my dad, I was probably like 11 or 12 years old, I really liked it. And it's been a movie I periodically have watched over the years. And I remember loving it, and I still do. Spoiler alert. But, you know, Clint Eastwood is really great in this movie. Clint Eastwood's a great actor anyway. But at times, you know, he kind of plays the same character over and over, which he does a really good job. I'm not complaining. But the fact that he did that here and directed the movie is pretty incredible. So real quick, before we get into this, because there's some... There's a lot of potatoes we have to eat before we get to the meat on the story. Cody, what is your general view of Western movies in general? Like cowboy Western movies, not like, you know, Western civilization movies.
Yeah, it's not really a genre that I really look for in movies. I know growing up, a cousin of mine was living with us for a while, and he was like really into Western. So like on the weekends in the morning, you know, like on AMC or whatever, it'd just be Western movies. And there was never a single one that I was interested in. Like they all just seemed so boring overall. So yeah, it's just not really a genre that really speaks to me.
I got you, but Hocus Pocus is.
The first one, yeah.
Cody's like, the first one, yeah, motherfucker. Okay, all right, Owen, since we got you all liquored up,
Yeah.
What is your general opinion of the Western genre films?
I really like Westerns, but let me put an asterisk on this. So classic Westerns, Like the old black and white John Wayne ones, I've never really been like a huge fan of. But you know, like spaghetti westerns and like revisionist westerns, like how this one is. And revisionist western just means like westerns where like usually it follows outlaws and like, you know, the Native Americans a little more than like the lawmen and shit, like kind of like the classic John Wayne ones do.
Aren't they? Isn't it also like revisionist? They kind of warp the actuality of the history of it to make it a better story for themselves, like romanticize outlaws and stuff. I
think, well, all westerns do. No, I don't think any westerns actually like pretty much any kind of accurate in any way. I think revisionist.
Oh, no, I don't mean that, but I thought when I was reading the revisionist thing, that was something that was highlighting the definition of it.
Yeah,
on Wikipedia.
I definitely think, yeah, you're right, because you know, most westerns play pretty hard and fast, but revisionist westerns really, like in revisionist westerns, most of the time the entire scenarios are made up. But I think really like revisionist westerns are just about thinking about the West in a different way. Because, you know, back in the 50s, everybody was like, yeah, the cowboy lawman, he's the good guy, you know, and it was all pretty straightforward. But, you know, you have, you know, spaghetti westerns and shit kind of coming in, and, you know, they kind of have their own ideas about, like, moral ambiguity and stuff like that. But I really like those ones, you know. But, yeah, I love westerns.
The more complex ones.
Yeah, exactly. I love, you know, the archetypes. I love the sounds. I love the guns. It's all really cool to me, and I even love the real Old West period. You know, I love to read about it and stuff like that. So yeah, I've always been a big fan.
Okay, good deal. I think I'm kind of a mix between you guys. Like, it's not a genre that I'm going to go out of my way to watch, like with Cody, but there are a lot of movies in the genre I do like. I've never really sat down and watched the Man with No Name trilogy. Like, I've seen bits and pieces of the movies. I've seen the good and the bad and the ugly quite a few times. And I've seen A Fistful of Dollars at least once. I haven't seen A Few Dollars More. And those are the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns. But there is one western movie that I absolutely love. And it's going to be boring for Cody. So maybe it might be a special episode me and Owen has to do. Because I don't know if I want to use it as one of my choices. But it's called Once Upon a Time in the West. And it's the same guy who directed the 3 Clint Eastwood movies. And Charles Bronson plays in it. And it's a great fucking movie. And Henry Fonda, who, you know, obviously was a legendary actor, was always a good guy, plays the bad guy in the movie. And it's fucking awesome. But yeah, so it's kind of like it's a mixed bag for me, I guess. I don't go out of my way to watch them, but there are some good ones. Mm-hmm. I think the only John Wayne western movie I like is McClintock because it's got a lot of humor in it. And that's really about it for me, like when it comes to that. If it's not Clint Eastwood, chances are I'm not going to even give it a chance. But yeah, that's about it. All right, The Outlaw Josey Wales. Released June 30th, 1976.
Okay.
On a budget of $3.7 million, had a box office of $31.8 million. Let's go ahead and get this part out of the way since I don't like it so much. Right now it says on Wikipedia that Josey Wales was widely acclaimed by critics in August of 1976. But when I listened to the making of featurette on my Blu-ray, well, I found it on YouTube, so I was listening to it. Clint Eastwood was saying that if the movie was released now, and I think that interview was done in like 1999, he said if the movie was released now, it'd probably be as well received as Unforgiven was. But I was listening to some of the commentary on the Blu-ray after I watched it for like the first time, and the guy who was talking, I think he was a film critic, said the movie wasn't as acclaimed as it was said, I guess. But you know, other than that, and right now, unfortunately, I mean, I hate going with the Rotten Tomatoes part. Right now, retrospectively, the film has a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. And is a 69 on Metacritic on 9 reviews.
Nice.
Nice. I know. All right. So, we're going to go over the general cast. Clint Eastwood is the titular character, Josey Wales.
He's the two.
Chief Dan George as Lone Wati. That's the long-haired Native American gentleman that's with him.
Dude, he's cool. He's my favorite character.
I got a quick story about him too that I heard on I heard it on a review of it, and I also heard it on the featurette from Clint Eastwood about him. Laura Lee, which is the blonde-haired lady at the end of the movie that I guess is smitten with Josey Wales, that just kind of stares at the camera, only has a few lines. Her name is Sandra Locke, and this was the first movie she did with Eastwood. She ended up doing 6 with them, and they were in a domestic partnership for like 15 to 20 years. Captain Terrell is Bill McKinney. He played in quite a few movies. Fletcher is played by John Vernon, and he has the absolute greatest voice of all time. I'd want him narrating my dreams. And let's see here.
Who
I'll go ahead and mention
Who plays the Mud People Rednecks?
the what now?
The Mud People Rednecks that say, "Now move slow so I can count the hairs on your head."
Okay. All right. The best part about that, I don't know the other guy, but the other guy is the one who count the hairs on that hand. That's Uncle Leo from Seinfeld.
Cool.
Let's see here.
I love it when he spits on them.
Yeah, that shit's fucking awesome. I'm trying to find his name because he plays in Lynn Lesser is Abe, and he's the one that says like count the hairs on the hand. He's like, "Come on, aren't you big Josey Wales?" He's great, but he's Uncle Leo. And if anybody out there has never seen Seinfeld, just YouTube Uncle Leo, Jerry, hello, and Seinfeld is having a dream because he accidentally put his uncle in jail for stealing batteries. And he has this dream of his uncle working out. And he's an old guy. He has this dream of his uncle working out in prison. And he has a tattoo on his knuckles. Jerry, hello! It's really great. Alex will laugh at that joke because he knows what the fuck I'm talking about. You guys are losers. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah, that's the only people. I mean, there's, you can get on Wikipedia and look at the rest of the cast. Those are kind of like the important ones. Well, let's see here.
Who plays Josey Wales like the kid?
His son?
Yeah, his no, not his son. The guy who's like his stand-in son. The guy who teaches him like Rose of Alabama.
Oh, that kid. Hold on, what's that kid's name?
He says, "Oh, brown."
Sam Bottoms. His name's Jamie.
Okay, Jamie.
Yeah.
I know a guy at work named Jamie. So.
Jamie's got a gun, too. And he did have a gun in this movie. Yeah. More like a musket, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he sure did.
All right. Real quick, because this is where Owen's going to live up to his historical buff.
Yeah. I must preface this before you say anything. I'm not great at the Civil War. And if I'm good at anything in the Civil War, it's Eastern theater shit. All right? So it's like Army of the Potomac, Army of Northern Virginia, like, McClellan and Lee and stuff. I don't really know Trans-Mississippi type shit too well.
Okay. But, hey, Owen, look, man, when I say that you're an expert, and then you preface it by saying you're really not an expert, it ruins the whole bit.
Yeah, exactly. I do have a master's.
Owen, do me a favor now. Shut the fuck up and let me do my job.
Let me show my doctorates. I did my dissertation on fucking bleeding Kansas. So.
Okay, so Josey Wales was inspired by the 1972 novel. Okay, this shit gets real deep, okay? I'm going to go ahead and read you this first part of this paragraph on the production, and then I'll let Owen take it away. Oh, boy. The Outlaw Josey Wales was inspired by the 1972 novel by supposedly Cherokee writer Forrest Carter. Alias, hold on, this is the best part because I don't think Cody knows this. Alias, a former KKK leader and segregationist, speechwriter for George Wallace, Asa Earl Carter. Now, here's the best part. His identity was exposed in part due to the success of the film. The book was originally titled The Rebel Outlaw Josey Wales and was later retitled Gone to Texas. Now, this dude had moved out to like Oklahoma or some shit.
Yeah, he moved to Texas.
He got a tan.
I think.
No. I'm talking about Carter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he moved to Texas.
Oh, is it Texas? Okay. So he got a suntan and claimed that he was half Cherokee Indian, and his name was Forrest Carter. The movie blew up, and the book blew up after the movie did. And people were like, well, we got to know more about this Arthur. Well, this guy put out a autobiography talking about his parents getting killed when he was a child, being raised by his grandparents who were then killed when he was 10 years old.
Well, it's like the Teaching of Little Tree or whatever. It's like a semi-fake
Yes.
autobiography. Yeah, that used to be...
No, dude, that's 100% fake.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is that used to be like way back in the day. That book used to be like required reading for like kids doing like Native American studies. So...
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
This dude put a wool over everybody's eyes.
Yeah, I don't...
He was a Klansman. Like, he was a leader of a Klan's chapter for the KKK.
Yeah, well, he was a leader of like a splinter group of like pretty militant Klansmen who were like they splinter off because they thought the KKK wasn't extreme enough, pretty much. And he was kind of like a politician. He did a bid for governor of like some county in Alabama or something.
He challenged Wallace because Wallace was the guy he wrote speeches for. He's the one.
Yeah, segregation now,
famously,
segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. He wrote that speech, all sorts of shit. So he was a huge segregationist and stuff. So.
And by the way, people, this was 1968. Okay, not 1868. This was 1968 that all this stuff was happening because George Wallace run for president. He tried to get a bid to get into to be in the presidential race, and he was super fucking racist about everything. Yeah. But Asa Earl Carter is the one who is actually Forrest Carter. He's the one that wrote all of his stuff for him. And the funny thing was, they took the name Forrest Carter from... where did he get the name?
I forget why he decided to run away. Pretty much, I don't know. Something had happened, but anyways,
Nathan Bedford Forrest, a general in the Confederate Army who fought in the Civil War and the first leader of the Ku Klux Klan, and that's where Forrest Gump got his name too. Not to ruin that for everybody.
Old Jeb Stuart, dude. He was a cavalry corps commander down here. There's a lot of battles down where I live where he was involved in. But either way, what I was meaning to say was, the story goes is that Asa Carter, we don't really know why he decided to, or there might be some reason why. You might know more, Lance, because I didn't really read up on it. I just know this. So for some reason he decided to move to Texas, took on the persona of Forrest Carter, and kind of, we don't know if he turned over a new leaf or if he
did not.
Yeah, well, I think he didn't.
Reading his. Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, yeah, I don't know. He never really, after that, really championed for any kind of segregation or anything like that after he moved down.
Now, he changed because... Okay, he lost. And if you read the book, and Cody, you can chime in, dude. I hate to, talk over this whole thing, but when he lost that government, that bid for the governor to Wallace, the guy he used to work for, he viewed Wallace as a traitor to the cause. Because Wallace realized that you couldn't be a segregationalist, so he tried to be a centrist for the government so he could be elected more, and obviously that still didn't work. So I think the video I was listening to when they were talking about the whole story said that I think you can look at a parallel for Fletcher in this movie as Wallace. He was the guy that turned him in practically and turned his back on everybody when he turned him into the...
Yeah, it's kind of funny because, a lot of this movie is kind of like a parallel, and you kind of have to make that, I think it's part of what makes this movie kind of so like the writing kind of feel more emotional in a way. It's like you can tell this is coming from a real place. Like the book, he'd actually, I'm trying to say that. Shit, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I had too many beers. I'm just saying that you could tell it came from a real place, pretty much. I feel like if anybody could, in the terms of the point of view of like a ex-Confederate, who's lost the war, I think if anybody could capture that kind of feeling in the protagonist, it would probably be somebody who was like an ex-segregationist who got ousted and had to, assume a new identity.
Here's the thing.
That's pretty much what, Josey
ousted,
Wales has to do.
He was like, this was when the whole thing, the segregational stuff was like, not okay, but you could get away with this shit. When he lost the government, the bid, that's when he moved to Texas and changed his name. They didn't find out that that Forrest Carter was a fake name until after he was dead. Like, so he died. They had a funeral for this guy as Forrest Carter, and then some Southern people, I guess from like the actual Southern Confederate States, not from Texas, showed up, and they held another funeral for him, removed the Forrest Carter headstone, and put his real name down. That's when everybody kind of fucking found out this dude was like, this was after he was dead that he found out that he was a KKK Klansman.
There's a funnier other story too, where he was doing like an interview,
Barbara Walters,
like a book interview. Yeah, and he kind of has like his head down, and he has a hat over his head and shit, and kind of trying to hide his identity. But I guess some people from Alabama or something kind of recognized him, and were like, "That looks a lot like that guy."
It's fucking crazy, man. This whole thing, like I not like, hey, I want to see the horrible things he did. But they should make this dude's life into a fucking story, like into a movie. But like Outlaw Josey Wales, like it's probably his glamorous view of putting a heroic stamp on his life, because I think this guy was first and foremost obviously a racist, but he was also trying to glorify himself the whole time. I think that's what this whole thing was. Listening to that guy's this video this guy put together about the story. And I don't think Eastwood and his production company realized that that's what this story was.
Yeah, no one involved in the production really knew about the whole story with this or anything. So
now let's go ahead and get into this plot real quick, so we don't dick around this episode, because I feel like we're gonna have some tangents on this plot. So it starts out with a Missouri farmer. Yeah. His son and him are in the field. This is why I think the way the movie portrays it, because it does use the Civil War as a backdrop, not a morality tale, because he's doing the work. He doesn't have any slaves. Now, I know Missouri was a part of the Confederacy, and Kansas was a part of the Union, which really doesn't make sense if you think about it, because they're both the same exact location on the fucking map in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, there was some tension between that. So there's a whole event called Bleeding Kansas, where Kansas, through popular sovereignty, was supposed to decide whether or not it wanted to be a free slave state. That's kind of where all this shit came from, like the guerrilla fighting and stuff that is showcased in this movie. John Brown comes from Bleeding Kansas and stuff like that. Basically people were, fighting to the death over this thing, killing families and shit, and burning down houses over this on both sides. So that was pretty.
This movie, like the way this movie does it, is the Confederate guerrillas that come up and first off, Josey Wales is like farming. And then you hear his wife call for their son to come wash up because dinner's about to happen. Then you start to hear some screaming when the son goes up to the house. And it's Kansas redlegs attacking his house. A group of guys have his wife pulling her out of the house. The house is on fire. You hear his son call out his name. He runs up there, gets bashed in the head, and then gets sliced on the face. And then he wakes up, his son and wife are dead, and the house is burned down. And a really good shot in this movie that's really memorable to me is, he's digging the graves, and you see him dragging a big burlap sack, and you see his son charcoal hand fall out. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a really good shot. And it's like, holy shit. And then, I was listening to a film review of this because I kind of thought, like this is what it was meant. And, he buries his wife and child and he puts a cross up. And he says, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And then he pushes the cross down. It's like he's leaning on his faith and his faith just snaps. So he no longer believes. But I also, in the back of my mind, was thinking, they did the Wolverine burial from the X-Men movie. What the fuck was that movie, Cody? Logan. They did the Logan thing. Like, he pulled it down, the cross became an X, so it's like, that's cool. So, do you have any thoughts up until this point, Cody?
He looks at his son's charcoal hand fall out. He's like, damn it, I overdid it. Yeah. I can't eat this now.
He's like, damn, into the trash it goes.
Oh, man. What a waste of good barbecue.
Like, well, I'm going to add a little more salt to this one.
He's like, should be seasoned.
I mean, my thought, obviously it's the beginning of the movie, but I don't really have any, like, thoughts at this point. Mostly I'm just like, I kind of get the impression this is going to be just another Western. But, yeah.
This is the Western that influenced Red Dead Redemption, you asshole. They literally stole the plot from this movie for Red Dead Redemption.
Which one?
The first one.
Oh, yeah.
The one that blew up. His wife and kid get killed, and he's getting revenge on them. That's what this whole thing's about.
That doesn't happen in the first one, though.
Yeah, that doesn't happen in the first game.
That doesn't happen in the second game.
I'm talking about
No, yeah, it doesn't happen in any... Because I'm trying to think, because... Yeah, because the story of Red Dead Redemption 1 is that John Marston is basically, he's a wanted man, but the marshals or whatever that find him are
supposed
basically
to be the FBI.
Yeah, so they're forcing him to go around and find his old crew because he was part of just a gang of thieves, and to find his old crew and go around and hunt them all down. And basically, they promise him that if he does this, then he will be forgiven. I don't remember what the actual legal word is for it, but
he'll be pardoned or whatever.
Yeah, there you go. He'll be pardoned or whatever. But then the big twist at the end is that they show up on his property, and they blow him to smithereens because they have like 30 FBI members outside of his barn. Yeah,
they share themes and stuff. Yeah, so
yeah, his wife and kid don't die because his kid actually. More spoilers for Red Dead Redemption that came out in fucking 2010 or whatever. It actually jumps ahead to when his kid is an adult and he tracks down the FBI guy that made the deal with John Marston and kills him.
And then the game fucking ends and it's cool. It goes bang and it shows the title screen. It's fucking badass.
Wow.
Okay, I was wrong on that. My bad, but. Let's see here. Red Dead Redemption's 1,500-page script was written in 2 years, taking inspiration from films like The Wild Bunch, High Plains Drifter, which was actually directed by Clint Eastwood.
High Plains Drifter fucking rocks, dude. Have you seen High Plains Drifter?
It's been a long time.
That movie's
I don't remember much
fucking
of it.
cool, dude. I love that movie.
Unforgiven and The Proposition. So I got 2 Eastwood inspirations on the game, so I'll take it as a half victory for myself.
Okay.
And then Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. No,
yeah.
Kidding.
Now, what fucking inspiration, what movie did that take?
Night of the Living Dead.
It took inspiration from acid.
Night
from
of the
LSD.
Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead, more like it.
All right, so real quick, we'll go ahead and try to skedaddle through some of this plot. Yeah, so he has to bury his kids, and then these pro-Confederate Missouri bushwhackers, led by William T. Anderson,
Bloody
show
Bill
up
and Luke.
Bloody Bill.
Bloody Bill's
And they
fucked
set that
up,
up.
dude. I mean, there's a mixed opinion on Bloody Bill, but Bloody Bill did some fucked up shit, but it's whatever.
Well, enlighten us real quick.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I said enlighten us real quick. You're like, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. He just did some massacres and stuff, killed a couple people, innocent people. General standard Missouri, Kansas bullshit. He just,
But where did
from go ahead, sorry, Cody, my bad.
Where did Bushwhacker Luke come into this?
He
He doesn't know what that is.
He whacked his
I know.
bush.
I do though. ain't cousin Luke. I ain't cousin Butch. Real quick. So, as a general oversimplification of this,
Yeah.
Owen, would you say that from a general overview of the Confederate and Union, okay, Union being good, Confederate being bad,
Yes.
white and black, is the Kansas-Missouri border war the definition of gray area in this war?
In certain instances, depending on who it is. I mean, they were definitely planters. Planters are the rich Southerners who owned slaves. There were definitely planters over there who, were just kind of fighting to preserve slavery. And the whole issue started with just people from the South trying to move into Kansas to make it a slave state, So that's kind of fucked up to begin with. But, then it kind of got retaliatory and kind of, just kind of became, oh, well, you're on Missouri side, so I'm going to fucking kill you. I don't even care. I don't care what your opinion on this is. So, yeah, in a lot of instances, this is kind of the saving grace. I guess this is the point I'm trying to make, is that there's a lot of movies, I'm thinking like Gods and Generals and shit like that take place from a Confederate perspective. And those movies are really they're dumb. They're ahistorical. They whitewash Confederate, bullshit like slavery and stuff like that. They try to make these planter class officers seem like they're I don't know, better people than they fucking, better than they were. And I think
glorifying them.
Yeah, the saving grace is that of this movie that makes it not feel like it's patronizing or trying to really push an agenda on you is the fact that Missouri, Kansas was fucked up. So, yeah, and it was pretty gray. So that's really just the point I'm trying to make. And it's completely believable to have, somebody's family get killed by Jayhawkers and want to fight the Union after that. That shit 100% had to have happened in Missouri, Kansas, bar none.
Mm-hmm. And it's very... it doesn't highlight the Confederate guerrillas that the bushwhackers.
Yeah, I mean they lose.
Cousin Luke, Cousin Bush. It doesn't highlight what they did because obviously they were just as bad as the Jayhawkers.
Yeah, there's no glory really behind them. I mean, they lose and they're battered and I mean they're they get their asses handed to them.
Yeah, and the thing is also with Josey Wales, the way the movie's directed. Obviously, I've never read the book, but it feels like there's such a I'm just trying to do my own thing for Josey Wales that if it was the Confederate guerrillas that killed his family, he would have joined the Walkers. The Jayhawkers are the ones that
the red legs. They just call them red legs.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, the red legs, and he wouldn't have. That's the thing. It's it was a way for him to get closer to his cause because he had nothing left.
Yeah, his
wife and son get killed. They come up and say, "We're going up to Kansas and make things right." Yeah. He goes, "I'll be riding with you."
And I mean,
and like I said,
I guess it's not really a huge big deal. It's just something that you're gonna have people watch this movie now and be like, "Oh, well, this and this." And, I just want to kind of shed some light on that. If this guy was a fucking, plantation owner or something in the Army of Northern Virginia, no, yeah, he's an asshole. I don't give a shit about planter class people and shit losing. I don't give a fuck, But I think, the point I'm just trying to make is that, that's kind of.
There's more moral gray here because this movie doesn't deal in any kind of slavery.
Yeah, exactly.
This movie, it uses like I said at the beginning of this movie uses the Civil War as a backdrop to give you definition to these characters, but the story is he's trying to really he's trying to avenge his family, but he picks up these misfit toys along the way, and it becomes kind of like a new family for him that he doesn't really want.
Yeah, it's pretty much. It's just set up to make him an outlaw. That's pretty much all it is.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. Hold on, I had something. Whew. Yeah, I know. Anyway, sorry, WrestleMania is going on right now at this moment, and Alex and Jacob were texting something in my group chat. So it shows like a quick montage. Like the first 5 minutes, his family gets killed, and he joins the Bushwhackers. It shows like a montage of battles being done during the title sequence, and then after the title sequence is over, Fletcher, who was the second in command behind Bill Anderson, that I just saw the dude's name. What his name?
Yeah,
is Owen.
Bloody Bill. Yeah, that's right.
Bloody Bill. And Fletcher was telling them that, like, look, I've had enough. I want to go home. They said if you go down there, turn your gun in, swear back into the Union, they'll feed you and send you on your way home. And they all decide to go down there except for Josey, because Josey has no one to go home to. You know, this isn't him fighting like, yeah, we got to fight pro-slavery. No, he's an outlaw at this point because he wants to get back the people that, you know, killed his family. Well, Fletcher goes down there, and the governor, what the fuck was this dude's name? I swear Fletcher has an incredible voice, I swear.
Yeah, the governor's a real governor, too. I forget what his name is, though.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. No, he's Senator James H. Lane. He calls him Senator. Yeah, he goes like Senator. And what happens is one of the kids, Jamie, I say kids, he's the only kid of this group. He's probably like 20 years old. But he kind of like, you know, is still kind of fighting the swearing in, just kind of being like a kid, like smarting off and shit like that. And then Josey sees it happening before they all do because he's up on the hill. All the Confederate bushwhackers get gunned down by the Union. Turns out it was a setup, and Fletcher didn't know he was leading them into a trap. He thought, you know, it was legit over. The war's done. We're just gonna go home. And turns out that's not what happened. But yeah. So the whole movie, like, this kid gets killed. Josey ends up taking care of him. It's a really good little gunfight. Josey's like blowing everything up. He's like doing, like, as Cody watched the movie, he's like doing Commando, but without a machine gun, like the Arnold Schwarzenegger machine gun. He's like gunning everything, blowing up tents and shit. Like, this dude, man, this fucker crazy. But then he sees the kid Jamie got shot, so they sneak off, and then like the next, I'd say probably 20 minutes of the movie, they run into I swear, when they run into the guy trying to sell that potion, and he's like, this stuff works great for wounds. He goes, what about stains? He goes, I'm sure it does well. And Josey just spits on him. That's another little, like, a small theme in this movie. Josey Wales spitting tobacco on shit.
Yeah, that's what I do in real life now because of this movie.
It shit's really good. Like, it's a whole little, like, thing. And they run into the Redlegs trying to capture them, and that doesn't really work out for them because they have to take a trolley over, and then Josey Wales shoots the rope, so the trolley is just going down the river. He calls it the Missouri boat ride. Missouri. I like how they say Missouri.
Yeah, all the Southerners. They're like, Missouri.
Missouri. And then, you know, we run into Uncle Leo and his redneck cousin, and they're trying to capture Josey Wales. It doesn't go good for him. He spits on his forehead. And then the next scene is, you know, they're hauled up in kind of like a little tent, and it's raining, and they're waiting for the Union soldiers to go to bed so they can go. But Josey tells the kid to, you know, he's like, here's some beef jerky. Don't swallow anything but the juice. I'll be back in a minute. Can you imagine, like, here, swallow beef jerky juice. Like, that's the thing to do.
Yeah, he's like snapping to his Slim Jim, brother.
Ooh, yeah.
Here's some jerky, brother. Hell yeah.
All right, Cody, you got anything to say at this point, man?
At this point in the movie, I'm still pretty bored. I don't know if that comes as a surprise to anybody, but again, like, to me, it just feels like a Western. And again, Westerns don't really appeal to me that much. It's really not until he starts, like, gathering, you know, people into, like, his little caravan or whatever that it becomes a little more interesting for me. So yeah, the first half of the movie, I'm just like kind of I don't know.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure because Alex said that you were real quiet on the Mortal Kombat episode. I'm like, shit, I probably talked too much and didn't let him chime in as much.
Yeah, we do talk too much.
I felt like I talked quite a bit on that episode, but I don't know. I don't remember. That was so
no,
long
Alex,
ago.
because Alex said Alex wasn't saying I talked a lot, but I mean I was going a mile a minute. I didn't let. I don't think I let certain things breathe for it to be more discussion. I kind of hurried along the plot.
Yeah, well, I kind of.
I just want to make sure I don't do that this time.
I always feel like we talk over.
I kind of going into this recording. I kind of figured this was primarily going to be a U2 sort of thing.
U2.
Oh, I know, but I just want to make sure I don't leave you in the dust. Like if you got anything that pops in your head, like you remember from history class or anything, dude. I swear to God, I just want you to
anything that fucking pisses you off.
History. History.
Let me tell you something,
no more,
boy.
don't you know?
Yeah. I liked it when gumballs were 5 cents.
Damn it, you're talking about my heritage.
Real quick, let's talk about the rock candy when we get to this, okay?
What did you say, Cody?
I said, damn it, you talking about my heritage.
This is my heritage, man, brother. This is a heritage.
Well, Cody, that's not entirely true, Cody, because
what if
your grandmother was a German immigrant?
What if Josey Wales, like in like one scene, he just gets like a fucking like big GMC pickup truck and rolls coal. He fucking like
like a rock. And he plays that song for GMC.
No, and to just correction, my grandmother's dad was a German immigrant. And yeah, they didn't come here until like the late 1800s. I think most of my ancestry didn't come here until like the late 1800s. So like they were here.
Now here's the thing,
Civil War.
Now, didn't your great grandfather immigrate to Kansas though?
Yeah. So
or was it Minnesota?
No. So when they came here from Germany, they lived in Illinois actually, and then maybe it was Indiana, and then because that's where my grandmother was actually born. And then when she was a really, really small child, they moved to Kansas. And like that's where my dad is from Kansas, and
okay,
it wasn't until like the 80s. Where did your mom
come? Like when does the Minnesota Viking thing come in for your grandmother?
Okay, so my grandmother in her adult life, she moved away from Kansas and up to Minnesota, and lived there for several years.
Okay.
Yeah, she basically rooted for 3 football teams because there were 3 primary states that she lived in throughout her life, and that was she would root for Kansas City. I know technically it's Missouri, but you know, she rooted for Kansas City, Minnesota, and Tennessee. Because she moved here in the 80s, so
what about
she lived here
instead of Missouri? It's called Misery.
I'm sure you're not the first person that made the joke, but that was pretty funny. I'll give you credit.
Thanks.
Now, real quick, Cody, your dad, was he already living in Tennessee when she moved here? Or did he move with her?
No, he moved down here after they did.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, it was one of those things that I think he just kind of felt like he needed to get away from wherever he was. So they were living here, so he moved down here because they were here, and that's where he actually met my biological mother.
Okay, got you. Okay, I couldn't remember how the whole thing played out. I just know me and you share German immigrants in our family. Not like we're related, but we have that same
brothers.
familial history.
Yeah.
And his family ended up in Kansas. My family immigrated to Missouri from Germany. So
wow, Lance. So that means you're a bushwhacker, dude. What the fuck,
dude? Look. Okay, I'll say this. I know my great grandmother on my mom's side had part Native American to her, but she also had French to her name.
Croissant.
I know. And then I know on my mom's dad's side, the granddad's side, he was like Irish, full-blooded Irish, I think.
That's cool.
And then my dad's side, like one generation to another, my dad's dad was born in Missouri, but his parents were German immigrants, so he was full-blooded German. My grandmother was born in East Prussia. That's when he was stationed in the army. He was in Germany, and that's where he met her and got married. So my dad's full-blooded German as well, but he was born in Fort Riley, Kansas. So there is kind of a Midwestern like tie that me and Cody do have. So I just want to make sure that I know you're from Like I made the joke about Indiana. We'll talk about the Hoosiers in just a minute because it was pretty funny. Like the old grandma in this movie is kind of entertaining because she just won't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, she's like a huge bitch, pretty much.
Yeah, she is. She's like, nothing good's ever come from Missouri. And he goes, well, I'm a Hoosier, and I feel the same way. Well, I don't think too highly of Hoosiers either. I'm like, damn. And he's just kind of staring like... That's the one thing about this movie. There are like a little humor in this movie that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like pretty... there's some levity in this movie that's really nice. I enjoy it.
And it doesn't overstay its welcome, and it doesn't take away from the overall plot of the movie.
Yeah, she's actually my favorite character in this movie.
Oh, is she? Okay,
yeah.
Cool. I can't wait till we get to her on this one. So real quick, he comes back. Jamie's dead, and he says a little word for Jamie. Puts Jamie on the back of a horse and tells him that the blue bellies, the red legs, will give him a better barrel than he could. And it also works pretty good because it serves a distraction. He takes a fire at the horse's ass. The horse runs off. The Union soldiers run after the horse, thinking they shot and killed the Confederate kid that they were looking for. And then Josey Wales sneaks off behind him. And then that's when Josey makes it to the sovereign nations, where the Native Americans that have been quote-unquote civilized are staying. And that's where we meet... Oh, shit. Let me get the guy's name.
His name's Lone Whitey?
Lone Watiti.
Lone Watiti.
Watiti, yeah. And played by Chief Dan George. And
isn't that the guy who directed Thor Ragnarok?
Oh, no. That's Taika Waititi.
There it goes.
Well, let's talk about this guy real quick. He was like 80 years old when he did this movie. And he couldn't remember his lines. And they would try to do the best they could with him by giving him cue cards. But an 80-year-old man on horseback is not going to be able to read cue cards with his lines on them. So what Eastwood did was like, they kind of grilled him, okay, this is your lines, this is your lines, this is your lines. And then Eastwood would tell him, okay, look, don't worry about your lines. Because he has the overall story in his head. He goes, just kind of ad-lib and, tell the story as it just happened to you. And that's where he goes off on those little tangents. And it's kind of like a little running bit where Eastwood falls asleep when he starts telling the story. And I get cracked up when he keeps telling the story about endeavor to persevere. It's like, we talked to the vice president about our land being taken away. And he says, endeavor to persevere or something like that. And he goes, we didn't know what it meant. And they took our picture and they put it on the newspaper. And he had the same line. He goes, and we thought about it for a while. And then after we thought about it, we declared war on the Union. And then later on he says, I didn't surrender either. They took my horse and he surrendered. He's probably pulling a wagon in Kansas somewhere. But so Eastwood, like the whole bit is he's telling kind of like a little bit of his backstory. He's completely been... lack of a better term, like all of his skills have been taken away from like not using them in his older age and being civilized, quote unquote. But throughout the movie, he has some of his skills come back, which is pretty good because he tries to sneak up on Eastwood and Eastwood sneaks up on him. So Eastwood takes a nap and wakes up because Eastwood's safe in the sovereign nation; they can't come get him. Yeah. So Eastwood's like sleeping on the guy's porch, and he comes back. When he wakes up and then, Watiti, fuck, man. It ain't Watiti, it's YT. It has to be because it's Watie. Lone YT, is going to go with him. He's packing up. And he has a thing of rock candy. Because it's rock candy, but it's not for eating, it's just for looking through.
I like it when he puts the little toad on his pillow.
Yeah, he says he's like the toad said we should go to Mexico in that way. And then they kind of go to a trading post where you see the Native Americans who were trying to trade fur, beaver pelts, and muskrat pelts, and the guy's really screwing them over. He says, I need 10 muskrat and 30 beaver pelts. I'm like, that's a fucking lot, dude. And then you meet another Native American character, a woman who works for him, and she is Little Moonlight is her name. And she's about to get raped by two guys at the trading post. And then, like I said, a reoccurring theme, you have a few people that recognize Josey Wales and they try to capture him. Well, Josey Wales comes in because he's trying to buy one of their horses, and then they recognize him, they hold him at gunpoint, he fucking shoots them down real quick. It's really cool. So yeah, and then Little Moonlight joins the posse. And then also, there's a dog that comes along with it. I'm assuming it's her dog. I don't know. Or maybe it's Lone Whitey's dog. I'm not sure. You got anything to add to this, Owen, so far?
No, not really.
There's a lot of attempted rape
Cody?
in this movie.
Yes, there is attempted rape, but I mean,
Yeah, well, it was a rough
didn't do it.
time, brother.
It's pretty much every time a woman's on screen, like, or first introduced to the film, it's like, yep, someone's trying to rape her. It's like, man, that is.
Except the old lady. They suggest it.
But the one guy was like, if you want someone, take that old woman over there. She's only worth a donkey.
so Cody, is this the point in the movie where you're getting a little more interested when they're picking up? Is it when we get to Grandma and her granddaughter?
When they find the grandmother and granddaughter, that's pretty much when it's like, okay, my interest is peaked, and I think it is just because you do have like that whole like, oh, there's kind of a group now, it's not just 2 or 3 people, and again, the grandmother is my favorite character in the movie. I think she's funny. So
It reminds me of my grandma.
Steve, that was your grandmama's. But yeah, so like we're still getting there. It's I
She
think
reminds me of. I don't think it's not her. Maybe it is her. I don't know. She reminds me of the grandma from Beverly Hillbillies.
I've never seen that.
You never seen that show?
No.
Let's see here. She passed away in 1994.
That's where I want to be.
Nah, she wasn't in that show, unfortunately. She was actually in Paint Your Wagon, which was a Clint Eastwood movie with Lee Marvin. Interesting.
Who does
I haven't
that
watched
song?
that movie ever.
Owen. Who does that song? The
That's
Beverly Hills
Weezer.
song. Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Say it ain't so.
Your love is a heartbreaker. That's mine.
Mercy.
There
You guys suck.
you go. Hair to height, brother. What if they had a Trump, like if one of the characters wore like a MAGA hat? Wouldn't that be funny?
No. Well, I mean, I think this is kind of like a more historical view of MAGA, to be honest with you at this point. But it's just funny because if you think about it, like the Redlegs, Tillman. What the fuck was that dude's name? Hold on.
Look.
Terrell,
Bush.
Captain Terrell. He says doing good ain't got no. What is it? What does he say? Because they were like, it says it's over. It's like, yeah, there's nothing over doing good or some shit like that. Because there's the uppity up to his mindset, but he's obviously raping, pillaging, and stealing and shit.
Look,
so he has that reputation.
Bushwhackers, stand down and stand by.
Yeah. He's just listening to his announcement, dude. That's really all it is. Stand down and stand by. Josey Wales looks to his calendar. It's January 6th. He's like, no, I'm not surrendering.
So real quick, look, I speed through this real quick because I'm trying to remember. There's a lot of little memorable stuff in this movie, but it's kind of hard. The plot is a very simple plot. Like I said, he goes through a couple more capture moments when people are trying to capture him. Like they go into town in Texas. They get to Texas. They get into town. They run across Grandma that Cody likes and her granddaughter, who's giving me fuck me eyes to Josey Wales.
That's all she does. Like, I think she barely has any lines in this film. Like, most of the time when she's on screen, she's just like staring at Josie.
Well, she says there's something wrong with her. So
I was just looking at the results of WrestleMania. Austin Theory beat John Cena.
I figured he would. They weren't gonna have him drop a title to Cena when Cena's like 45 and balding.
Well, here's the thing. John Cena's been balding. People are just now realizing it. And he had hair transplant surgery, and I guess it didn't take.
he's trying to use that
Yeah.
Chinese medicine.
Trying to use
here's
that
the thing.
snake
That shit
oil.
actually does work for some people. Like, that shit, like, to get your hair back does work. But it does come with side effects. And if you don't continue to take the medicine, the hair that you regain falls out. You have to take it the rest of your life to keep it. So he probably didn't do that.
On his way to L.A., Cena stopped off in the desert of Arizona and found a snake oil salesman. Yeah, he said this rattlesnake venom make a hair just grow right on out.
Hey, that dude, every time you see him selling shit in this movie, that thing does something different. Like, he's just a salesman. He doesn't know what the fuck it does.
Well, that's how snake oil salesmen were. You know, they would it was a miracle cure all, pretty much.
I don't know if Owen has seen Courage the Cowardly Dog, but it makes me think of the episode where Eustace is trying to grow his hair out, and he like, puts the drops on his head, and he gets like really angry all the time.
He goes, grrr.
Oh man,
That's exactly
So they ride into town. They meet these Kansas people, and it's just kind of like, you know, they end up like not shacking up is the worst thing. He does shack up with the granddaughter later on.
nice.
and the grandma.
He's like, she's like, they showed me some other things. She's like, are you coming on to me? I like your grandma more, dude.
It's like, she's a real gilf.
Yeah,
Here's the thing, guys.
she can get it.
And I don't know if Owen's gonna know this or not. Cody will. It's from Robot Chicken, and there was a spoof they did of the Golden Girls, and it was the oldest one, and she was talking about getting tag teamed by the entire basketball team, and it turns out she's just laying on the basketball court, and they're dribbling balls in her face like basketballs, and there's a guy at the table was like, check please, and they go into like some more details. He goes, I'm still waiting on that check, and he goes, I'll just leave money on the table. And I just think about, when you guys are saying that about this grandma, I just think about that. It's like the entire basketball team, the Hoosiers, the Indiana University Hoosiers did this to this poor lady. This is why she doesn't feel that fondly about Hoosiers.
I took on their Final Four.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I swear to God. That's pretty... Oh, my God. I can't believe I walked into that one, man. I walked into that. But anyway. But it's funny, the snake salesman who you see earlier in the movie is here, and he outs Josey Wales. And he's like, oh, my God. It's Josey Wales. And then Josie kills 3 out of 4 people that are trying to kill him. Chief shoots him. Shoots the other guy for him. And it's funny that when they're running off, they knock the salesman down in the cow dung or horse dung. Mm-hmm. And he's looking up and he's holding like a big pile of crap. He lets it go. It's so fucking stupid. But you don't see him again. And as they're running off, because obviously those were Union redlegs that were after them, a part of the posse that was after him that they end up killing, they run off. And then you see the same grandma, her granddaughter, and I guess it was her son or maybe her husband. They get attacked by these, what the fuck were these guys called?
Comancheros, motherfucker. Comancheros.
Now, what are Comancheros? Tell us about that.
I have no idea.
Okay, good deal.
Comanchero.
So these guys attacked the grandma, like the little group of her family that were there. I'm assuming it's her husband. You don't know. It's an older gentleman that's with her. He gets killed. They find her granddaughter. They're about to rape her. That gets stopped because they can trade a virgin for like 20 horses or some crap like that. Josey Wales ends up saving them, and, you know. But then when she starts talking, you're like, okay, she might be a little touched. Not in a sexual way, but in a mental way. So that might mean that Josey Wales had sex with a special needs person.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Anywho, long story short, they go into the town that the grandma said her son. Here's the funny part: when they get into the town where her son settled up, this is the father of her granddaughter. She talks about her son being this great man, kept his nose to the ground, and there's this woman in here who is
a hooker.
I don't want to get in trouble because I live with her now. Who's endowed very well for a woman, and she obviously is implied to be kind of like, you know, somebody you meet up at a bar and you have sex with.
Oh, you mean a prostitute?
She might be, but she's dressed up nicer than that. It's not implied she's a prostitute, but it's implied that she knew grandma's son in the biblical way.
Yeah.
And, you know, all that stuff. And then they get to the place, and the place is not like he said it was, because obviously, you know, he lied about it. So they run across Comanches, and Josey Wales makes peace with them, and we get to the final scene. And like I said, there's more that happens in this movie, like more like character bonding. I wouldn't say necessarily character growth. I think the only character that really grows in this movie is Josey Wales. Everybody else just kind of stays the same, but it helps further him to the next plot point.
I'll tell you what, in this final shootout, the granddaughter is just laying these guys out. Just
yes, she is.
Yeah.
She is a dead.
How about let's talk about this hilarious part where they dig through the roof of the house, and the dude jumps down. He doesn't have his gun. And when she turns around and shoots him, he's got his arms out like a fucking dinosaur. Like, ha! But he's scared. It's like he's doing this with his hands like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Pow! He's dead. So that's funny, but they all get shot down. And this is like, hold on. I got my fucking words off. I was short circuiting that.
So there's parts in this movie where the horses take little fumbles and stuff. Do they talk about that?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Like, you know, where
the
the horses
and stuff like tumble down the hills and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are like some. I didn't see anything about horses getting killed, but I didn't see anything about the horses being protected either.
Damn,
so I don't
that's
know.
rough.
Evidently, like one of the scenes, I heard this on one of the reviews. I didn't hear this obviously in the documentary. That Eastwood had like trouble with one of the horses, and he just fucking hauled off and hit one of the horses in the face or some shit like that. Now that is unsubstantiated. I didn't read it. I heard it in a review of the movie.
You said, "Damn horse."
So I'm just saying that's out there. But this movie was made on a tight budget, and he came in to direct the movie. He was already the star, and the guy who wrote the screenplay was going to be the director, and they didn't get along because evidently they both wanted Sandra Locke, and she picked Eastwood, and Eastwood had him fired. It's a whole thing. So, and the people that that Cody was talking about in the shootout, it's not the Comanches. Like Josey Wales makes peace with the Comanches.
Yeah, I know.
Because you think the Comanches are going to like fuck them up, and they don't. He comes up there and makes peace with them.
I just threw Comanche out because that was like one of the groups that they deal with.
I know. No, I don't think that's not your fault. That was my fault because I had jumped from point to point, and you had talked about Comanches, and then you started talking about the shootout at the end. The shootout was with the Redlegs, so the Comanches. Right. This is one of the few westerns you're going to see that portrays Native Americans in a sensitive light.
When the Redlegs
and more like give them actual characters instead of just how the son. Well, it's funny because Josey Wales was branding the cows they had on their property. But he was branding them with the signal
for the Comanches.
It's like the signal signifying the unit, the Comanches. So, but anyway, so we get the shot. The Redlegs show up. It's the guy who is the leader of the group that killed Josey Wales' family from the beginning of the movie, and reoccurringly throughout the movie, it happens at least 2 times, if not 3 times. Josie hears his son's name, calling his name out. It's like, Paul, just asking for help and his wife and shit like that. So he still thinks about it as all this stuff's happening. Like, he gets kind of like a new family with this little ragtag of characters with him. He doesn't want this family, but he's still trying to do the right thing and protect them. But he still hasn't forgotten his the past few years, obviously. He's still been trying to he wants to get his revenge. So he finally gets the motherfucker. He's been shot in the chest. he shoots Tiller, and I think that's the dude's name. I keep forgetting the fucker's name. Hold on. It bothers me. I can't remember the name. It's Captain Terrell.
Yes.
Shit. And Captain Terrell kind of looks like Yosemite Sam. But not as much of a bushwhacker look mustache, not a big handlebar thing. But anyway, so they have a thing, and it's a cool scene where Josey Wales is firing the empty guns at him, kind of scaring him as he's walking towards him, and then Terrell pulls out his knife, his bayonet or whatever, and then Josey Wales takes it and stabs him in the gut and gets his revenge. And then the final scene, Josey goes to the bar that's in the main town, and there's 2 Texas Rangers there, and the people in the bar are telling them about Josey Wales getting killed by 5 bushwhackers or some shit like that, 5 redlegs, and there's a third guy with them, and he says something, and he lifts his head up, and you see it's Fletcher. And the funny thing is, they call him Mr. Wilson because they said that Josey Wales has got killed. The character that Josey Wales is based on was a real life outlaw in Missouri. The real Josey Wales was a Confederate guerrilla fighter, a bushwhacker, an associate of the Bloody Quantrill Raiders. He was born William Bill Wilson in the Ozarks in Missouri. So this was a real guy that Josey Wales is based on. So when they call him Wilson at the end of the movie, that's kind of a nod to the actual character inspiration. And then it's a really cool thing that Fletcher says he thinks he's going to go to Mexico and tell Wales the war's over. And the people of the bar don't know that they know each other. And Fletcher lets the Texas Rangers go off with a signed affidavit saying that Josey Wales is dead and they ain't got to worry about him anymore. And Josey, they have a kind of thing, and Josey rides off in the sunset, and that's the end of the movie. In the book, I think he goes back and marries Laura Lee, which is the girl with the fuck me eyes. Or probably, mainly, she has eyes that say, give me my precious, Other than that, that's the kind of the plot of the movie. Like I said, I kind of streamlined it and ran out of steam, because it is kind of a simple plot, but it's like something else that gets added to him, some kind of extra burden, but he does right by taking care of them. Ultimately, he's a good guy, but he plays the anti-hero. Yeah. Josey Wales. So, let me go ahead and go with Cody. Cody, what did you think overall about the movie? Because you said you did get bored, and when he finally got the full cast of characters with him, that's when you were more interested in it. And what did you think about the ending of the movie from that point?
I thought it was all right. I mean, it's still, I still didn't think it was anything great. But it at least piqued my interest enough to, keep me interested in it up until the end. So, I just hate that it took so long for that moment to happen to really grab me.
Let me ask you this. Because if I remember correctly, you loved Unforgiven.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the difference in Unforgiven than this movie? Because they're about the same length. Is it because Unforgiven has more well-known actors and they kind of hold the screen better than most of these people?
It's not really that. I just think that I don't know, because this isn't. I think I just like Unforgiven's story of, part of it, is revenge or whatever, and part of it is, I'm trying to remember, because it's been so long since I've seen that movie. If I remember right,
well, he's an ex, he's an ex,
yeah,
piece of shit,
he's a
and
former,
he has a family now. He's changed, but he has to go back to his old ways.
Yeah, and there's the whole deal with the guys beating the women in the town and all that kind of stuff, and that one guy comes along and recruits him to kill these men. I don't know. I just find the setup a lot more interesting. This is just really oh well, there's a war going on, and he's on the run after being his home being attacked. It just, I don't know. It just kind of comes off as a little too common for Western movie, I guess. So
Okay. I got you. It's no big deal. I was just curious how that worked out. And I'm going to go to Owen after I get mine through because Owen's going to be more interesting than me. I still really love this movie. I think it's great. I can tell there's some parts are kind of boring in some areas in this movie. Not as much as obviously it was for Cody because I watched the whole movie. But I did have to take a few breaks because I was more distracted by my phone. If you're not in the right mindset watching this movie where you're just like, I want to watch a movie, if you're just like distracted by a lot of things, chances are you're not going to like this movie as much because it's easily to me to get distracted from. But, I think Clint Eastwood did a great job directing this. I think he did a great job acting in this, and everybody else did the best they could. I love Fletcher. I think the guy's got a great voice. I like Terrell. He's a piece of shit, but that actor plays in a bunch of stuff that I've seen, and he's a good actor. So yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. Obviously, I picked it and I grew up with it and I love it. And that's about it from me on my end from a deep thing. So Owen, I'm gonna go to you, sir. You watched it one time before, you didn't really remember it, and this is your second time watching it. Buddy, what did you think?
Nah, I think I remembered it the first time I watched it, but
okay, Owen, just shut up with the story. Okay, go with the story. Goddamn.
yeah, I liked it. Again, as I watched it, I just think it's a really fun movie. It's not incredibly complex, but it kind of came at a time, the 70s were kind of a time where I think a lot of people were, I think this kind of story appealed to a lot of people back then and stuff like that. And I think it was kind of groundbreaking, even though, now it seems like the story is a little bit, I guess, generic, there's not really a whole lot going on, but I think the themes really attracted people at the time. We're talking, it was like a post-Vietnam War kind of world. People weren't trusting authority as much, so I think that really resonates with a lot of people with regards to that. Yeah, I just like it. I like shootouts. I like cowboy shit, so, it's as simple as that,
No, it's pretty complex. I was curious, when we started this podcast to do a full circle moment. I knew me and Cody had some similar interests when it came to movies, and I know you guys would have similar interests when it comes to movies because you're kind of closer in age than I'm. Well, not closer in age. Cody likes newer stuff, and Owen would like newer stuff as well too. But Owen is kind of an old soul, and Owen likes older movies like I do. So I knew there would be an interesting complex, but I was kind of it kind of sucks. I wish Cody liked it more. I figured he would have liked it because I think it's a good movie, but I was completely off. Everybody thought I liked the movie X, and I fucking hated that movie. So to each his own. And I missed my shot, man. I took my shot and I missed it. Damn it.
look,
So who's the next episode? Is it Owen's pick?
Yeah, baby. I kind of want to do the cursed movie. I kind of want to do Kung Pao.
Well, it would be fun just to fucking watch something stupid and have fun with.
Yeah, it's an incredible.
There's not much. I know that. I've seen the trailer to it. Cody, what was going to be your movie after him?
my next movie is Pearl.
Pearl,
Oh,
little pussy Pearl.
Yeah,
I'll
so
try to find some excuse not to be on the episode.
I kind of figure Owen will probably dig it, but I have a feeling that you may not like it just because it is more of an artsy type horror movie. So
do you want me to when we do that episode? Do you want me to be fun asshole about it and crack jokes, or do you want me to be full Johnny Depp, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on it?
Whatever your opinions are of it. Hell, you never know. Maybe you will like it, but I just have a feeling you won't.
I'll be surprised. I read the plot to it when we did X. I don't remember it.
Yeah,
But
the plot isn't really the thing that's good about it. It's really the cinematography and the performances in it.
Oh, great. I can't wait. And I'm going to go ahead and throw my movie out there.
Okay.
I mentioned it earlier, and I'm fully prepared for Owen to like this movie and for Cody to hate this movie. But I don't care because it is a favorite of mine. It's 1986. Yeah, it's 1986, Heartbreak Ridge. It's a B movie, like military movie that Clint Eastwood did, and he directed. But there's a lot of humor in the movie. It's really good. It's just something like I watched that movie and I instantly liked Clint Eastwood after that point, and I started watching more of his movies. Like that was the movie that was like, okay, cool, I get it. Like for me, watching Commando was what sold me on Arnold Schwarzenegger as a kid. And then from then on, I was like, okay, I can watch the movies. Because I think at that point, if I didn't like the star of the movie, I was not going to like the movie, like, whatsoever. And like I said, I'm a kid. This is like 8, 9, 10 years old me. So I see Commando, I instantly like Arnold Schwarzenegger and all the shit he does. I see this movie, I instantly like Clint Eastwood and all his shit. So,
Gotcha.
But yeah, so next recording will be Kung Pao, Enter My Pussy. The movie after that will be Pearl. I had something sexual with that and I lost
Little
it.
Pussy Pearl.
And then
Pussy
Pearl.
Pearl
And then
Yeah.
Heartbreak Ridge will be after that. So do you guys have any closing thoughts on this episode, or it's been like a month since we recorded, guys. I missed you.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, no, I don't have any other thoughts on the movie. So
Okay.
All I have to say.
Oh, real quick.
Sorry.
We didn't do the recommend thing. Owen, do you recommend this movie, Outlaw Josey Wales?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I do. I definitely recommend it. Cody, do you recommend it?
no, I can't recommend it.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I would have been real pissed at myself I didn't ask that because like fuck, I forgot something.
I'm not alone.
All right, everybody.
All
right.
Thank you guys for listening to Filmoscopy. Like, share, subscribe, rate us, pillage us. I said rate, not rape. So rate
and
then pillage.
And make sure you stand
section.
by and stand down.
And you know what, people? If you go on Siri or ask Alexa and you say play Filmoscopy podcast, we fucking come up, baby. So go ahead and try that shit out. It's fucking awesome. Anywho, you guys have a good night. And as always, finish him.
And how about you, sir?
Just a few bottles left. You won't regret it. Oh my God! It's Josey Wales! You're gonna pull those pistols or whistle Dixie.